Vishnupadaya Krishna Prasthaya Vidale Srimati Bhaktivedanta Swamini Namini Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharani Devi Shesha Shunyavali Pashyati Dikshitani Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare. When we transcend material nature through the rendering of service unto Krishna, what is our status? Do we become zero? Some philosophies maintain that after liberation from material life, after the nirvana of this material body, we become zero, void. That is dangerous philosophy theory. By nature, the living entity is not attracted to zero. We may be diseased and suffering from so many ailments, but if our doctor comes and say, "Let me finish your ailments by killing you," we will immediately say, No, better let me suffer from the disease." We do not want to be killed just to end our miseries. Thus, the theory that after material life there is void is not at all attractive, nor is it a fact. We are Satchidanand Vigraha, eternal, blissful, and full of knowledge, part and parcel of the Supreme. The Supreme Lord is Satchidanand Vigraha, and we are qualitatively one with Him. Although very small, a drop of sea water is as salty as the sea. And although we are but spiritual atoms, we have the same properties as the Supreme Spirit whole. There is no question of being void, for as living entities, our spiritual properties are all there in infinite varietiness. If, however, out of frustration of material existence, we commit suicide, we do not end our miseries. We simply create other miseries. If one attempts suicide but does not succeed, or is somehow revived, he is subject to being punished under the state law. Similarly, the laws of nature treat suicides as criminal acts. We are tend to end this material life only after finding out the true blissful life of eternity. We should not simply be trying to end the miseries of this life simply out of frustration, but we should engage ourselves in activities that will raise us to spiritual life. The four divisions of human society were created by Sri Krishna in order to facilitate the process of elevation, just as a student is elevated from a lower class to a postgraduate class. The divisions of labor, Chaturvarnyam, are created to elevate us from the lower stages of consciousness to the higher stage of consciousness. This process is a process of cooperation. In the human body, the most important part is the head, then the arms, the belly, and the legs. Although the head is considered the most important part, there is no question of neglecting the legs or any other part. Similarly, in the divisions of human society, no one division is important to the exclusion of the others. Of these divisions, the Brahmanas are considered to be the intellectual class, the class of teachers. The Kshatriyas are administrative and military class. The Vaishyas are the mercantile and the agricultural and agricultural class, and the Shudras are the common laborer class. In a properly run society, all of these classes are required. If they cooperate in their progress towards Krishna consciousness, there is no strife amongst them. In the present social status, we find that we are existing in these four divisions, but there is no cooperation. Everyone is dissatisfied. Today there is a great strife between the capitalist class and the laborer class, because between them there is no compromise. There is only friction. All this strife amongst the classes is due to lack of Krishna consciousness. Indeed, there is not even a possibility of cooperation unless there is Krishna consciousness. Krishna consciousness is absolutely essential for harmonizing all facets of human society. Regardless of what class we belong to, if we cooperate in Krishna consciousness, there will be peace in the world. This Krishna consciousness
Krishna
is the
consciousness is the utmost necessity for all divisions of society. Every chapter and every conclusion of Bhagavad Gita aim toward Krishna consciousness. Sri Krishna is speaking Bhagavad Gita is always stressing devotion to his personal self. Manmana bhava madbhakto madhyaji mam namaskuru mame vishyasi satyam te pratijane priyosi me. Always think of me and become my devotee. Worship me and offer your homage unto me. Thus you will come to me without fail. I promise you this because you are my very dear friend. Throughout Bhagavad Gita, we find this word mam stressed. Mam means unto me, meaning unto Krishna. But there are many miscreants who are interpreting this mam to mean everyone. When I say bring me a glass of water, does it mean that I want you to bring everyone a glass of water? The individuality is there. But by jugglery of words, they interpret me or I to mean everyone. Consequently, when Krishna says I, the miscreants identify this I with themselves. This is a gross misinterpretation. Although Bhagavad Gita is very popular in the world, due to this misinterpretation by mundane scholars, it has not been properly understood.
Bhagavad Gita clearly explains that this Chaturvarnyam system was established by Krishna, but he is outside of this system. When Krishna comes as an incarnation, he does not come as a member of any social order, not as a Brahman or anything else. When Krishna came, he came as the son of Devaki and Vasudev. Vasudev belonged to the royal family and therefore was a Kshatriya. As such, Krishna played the part of a Kshatriya, but this does not mean that Krishna belonged to the Kshatriya class. There are many incarnations of Krishna in many forms of life. In one incarnation, he appeared as a fish, as a member of the community of fishes. But this does not mean that he is a fish. If we think upon seeing a fish that it belongs to Krishna's family, we are mistaken. Of course, from one point of view, everything is Krishna, but Krishna is aloof from everything. This is the transcendental nature of Krishna, and if we understand it, we will be liberated from birth and death. Although Krishna has established the four divisions of human society, he is not in any one of them. Tasya kartaram api mama vidhi akartaram avyayam. As soon as we understand that although Krishna was born into a Kshatriya family, he is not a Kshatriya, we actually become liberated. If we think that because Krishna acts in a particular way, as on the battlefield, he gave instructions to Arjuna to fight, he is bound by the reactions of his activities. We are mistaken. Works do not defile me. Sri Krishna says, Na mam karmani limpanti. In conclusion, we must accept the fact that when Krishna comes as one of us, he is not actually one of us. He is transcendental. This fact we must learn by submissive inquiry from authoritative sources, such as Bhagavad Gita or a spiritual master, who is fully realized in Krishna consciousness.
Today, all facets of human society are thinking that their self interest is in maintaining this body. Consequently, today's society is simply a society of cats, dogs, and hogs. From Vedic literature, we can understand that we don't have to work hard all day simply to maintain this body. We are working very hard because we are trying to control material nature for the purposes of sense gratification. One who can come to understand that Krishna is the root of everything, the origin of everything, can understand the meaning of Ishvaraha Paramaha Krishnaha. Krishna is the supreme controller. In this universe, there are many Ishwaras or controllers, but Krishna is the supreme among all of them. Krishna consciousness gives us this knowledge. Without it, we will remain ignorant of our self interest, real self interest.
Modern society is in dire need of intellectual persons or brahmanas who can broadcast real spiritual knowledge all over the world. That is an absolute necessity for a society which is working hard simply to exploit nature. If people try to understand this Krishna consciousness movement scientifically and philosophically with their best knowledge and judgment and try to cooperate, there will be peace all over the world. In a sense, the method is very simple. We need only chant Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, and follow the regulative principles mentioned before. By following the regulative principles, we will be avoiding the four pillars of sinful life. And by chanting the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, we will be associating with God constantly. Thus, there will be peace among all classes of men.
knowing Krishna as he is. We do not need any high qualifications to offer prayers to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Whatever social intellectual position may be, we can offer prayers. We do not have to be learned or very scholarly, nor we have to present our prayers in nicely selected words that are poetic, rhetorical, or metaphoric. None of these is required. Although if it is there, it is very nice. We simply have to express our feelings. But in order to be able to do this, we have to be aware of our position. Once we are aware of our position, our feelings can be expressed sincerely and automatically. What is our position? This has been taught by Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who teaches us how to pray in his prayer. Na dhanam na janam na sundarim kavitam va jagadisha kamaye mama janmani janmanishvare bhavatad bhaktirahaitu tvayi. O Almighty Lord, I have no desire to accumulate wealth, nor have I any desire to enjoy beautiful women, nor do I want to, nor I want any number of followers. What I want is that I may have your causeless devotional service in my life, birth after birth.
In this prayer, the word Jagadish means Lord of the universe. Jagat means universe and Ish means Lord. Whether we are Hindu, Muslim, or Christian, or whatever, we must acknowledge that there is a supreme controller of this universe. This cannot be denied by anyone who has faith in God. Our conviction should be that our Supreme Father is Jagadish, a Lord of the entire universe. Only Jagadish is in control. Everyone else is controlled. The atheists, however, do not like this term because they like to think that they are in control, but actually, this is not the case. All beings in the material world are subject to the three modes of material nature: goodness, passion, and ignorance. But the Supreme Lord is above these modes. Trivirgunamayirbhavair nebihi sarvam idam jagat mohitam nabhijanati mam evya param avyayam. Deluded by three modes, goodness, passion, and ignorance, the whole world does not know me, who am above them and inexhaustible.
The Brahma Samhita also gives us information regarding Jagadish, the Supreme. In that work, Lord Brahma says that the Supreme Controller is Lord Krishna himself, Ishvaraha Paramaha Krishnaha. The word Ishvara means controller. The word Paramaha means supreme. All of us are controllers to some limited extent. If we have nothing to control, sometimes we keep a dog or cat so we can say, "My dear dog, please come here." In this way, we can think I am the controller. Sometimes the tables turn, however, and we find that the dog controls the master. This happens because actually no one is the controller and everyone is controlled. Unfortunately, we are forgetful to the situation, and this forgetfulness is called Maya. We refuse to accept any controller of this universe because if we accept a controller, we have to account for our sinful activities, just as when we accept the government, we have to account for our unlawful activities. Our position is that we want to continue in our sinful activities, and therefore we deny the existence of a controller. This is the basic principle of uh, godliness. The current propaganda that God is dead is spread because people want to continue being rascals without restriction. This is the basic principle underlying the denial of God's existence. But however much we deny his existence, he will not die. In this regard, there is a Bengali proverb that says, "Shakuni shape goru marana." The word shakuni means vulture. Vulture enjoy dead animal carcasses, especially the carcass of cow. Sometimes a vulture may go for days without a carcass. Therefore, this proverb says that the vulture curses the cow, wishing him to die. But this does not mean that the cow will die just to oblige the vulture. Similarly, these atheistic vultures want to see God dead so that they can take pleasure in thinking, now God is dead and I can do anything I like.
We must know that for certain that there is a controller that is the beginning of knowledge. Why should we deny this truth? In every field of activity we find some finite controller, so how can we deny the existence of an infinite controller in this creation? It is not without reason therefore that Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu particularly uses this word Jagadish, Lord of the universe. He does not manufacture the term, for it is found in many different Vedic mantras. For instance, Navakara Kamalavare Nakam Adubhuta Shringam Lalita Hiranyakashipu Tanuvringam Keshavadreta Narahari Yupa Jai Jagadisha Hari. O my lord, your hands are very beautiful, like the lotus flower, but with your long nails you have ripped apart the vast Hiranyakashipu. And to you, Lord of the universe, do I offer my humble obeisances. Hiranyakashipu was an atheist who denied the existence of God, but God came as Lord Narsimhadev, a half man, half lion incarnation, and killed him. Therefore, praise is given to the Lord as supreme controller of the universe and all the living entities. Jai Jagadisha Hare.
There is also another prayer, Jagannath Swami Nayana Pathagami Bhavatu me. O Lord of the universe, please be visible to me. In all these prayers and in many others, the supreme control of the universe is acknowledged. Everyone is trying to become supreme controllers, but it is not possible by individual, communal, or national effort because everyone is trying to be supreme. There is great competition in the world. The world is created in such a way, however, that no one can become supreme. Regardless of what position we place ourselves in, we will find that someone is inferior to us and that someone is superior. No individual can say, I am the supreme, no one is above me. Nor can anyone say, I am the most inferior, no one is below me. Once we think that we are the most inferior, we'll immediately find that someone is inferior to us. And once we think that we are supreme, we'll immediately find someone superior. This is our position. God's position, Krishna, is not like this. In Bhagavad Gita, Krishna asserts his superiority himself in this way. Mattah parataram nanyat kinchidasti dhananjaya mayi sarvamidam protam sutre manigana iva. O conqueror of wealth, Arjuna, there is no truth superior to me. Everything rests upon me as pearls are strung on a thread.
God is Ashnudva, which means that no one else is equal to or superior to him. If we find someone who is no superior, we can accept him as God. God can be defined as one who is no superior and who is no equal. This is the Vedic version. In the Upanishads it is said, not that samaschabhyadya dikascha drishyate. No one is found equal to or greater than him. Another characteristic of God is that he has nothing to do. In the material world, where man is considered very important, he always has a great number of things to do. The President of the United States, for instance, is considered to be the supreme man of the country. But as soon as there is some disturbance in Central Europe or in any other place in the world, he immediately has to call a meeting of his cabinet to consider how to deal with the situation. So even he is required to do so many things. If he does not do anything, he is no longer the supreme man. In Vedic literatures, however, we find that God has nothing to do. Na tasya karyam karanam cha vidyate. Krishna may act in so many ways in the world, but it is not because he is required to do so. This is indicated in the Bhagavad Gita. Name parthashti kartavyam trishu lokeshu kinchana nanvaptam avaptavyam varta eva cha karmani. O son of Pritha, there is no work prescribed for me within all the three planetary systems. Neither am I in want of anything, nor have I need to obtain anything, and yet I am engaged in work.
In this respect, it is interesting to know that one European gentleman who went to Calcutta and visited several temples noted that in the temple of goddess Kali, the deity had a very ferocious figure with a chopper in hand and was cutting off the heads of demons and wearing them as garlands. In other temples, he saw the deity engaged in similar activities. But when he came to Radha Krishna temple, he said, I find that in this temple there is God. When asked how he concluded this, he said, in every temple, I saw that the deity was doing something, but here I see that God is simply playing a flute and enjoying himself. He obviously has nothing to do. This is a very intelligent conclusion indeed. It is the Vedic conclusion.
Nowadays, it is becoming fashionable for people to claim that they are becoming God by meditation. This means that by meditation, it is possible to transform oneself into God. In other words, God meditates by his meditation, he becomes God. This is all nonsense. God is God, and he was always God and will always be God. Even as an infant on the lap of his mother, Krishna is God. No meditation was required, no austerity or penance. When Putana, the demoniac witch, came to poison baby Krishna, she came as a beautiful young girl and asked Mother Yashoda, "Oh Yashoda Mai, you have a very nice baby. Will you kindly give me so that I can nurse him?" Yashoda was a very simple village woman. She asked, "Oh yes, you can take my child." Putna had smeared poison on her breast, and she intended to kill Krishna by letting him suck them. This is the demonic spirit. Demons are always wanting to kill Krishna. So they can say, God is dead, there is no God, God is impersonal. Krishna was so kind to Putana that he allowed her to nurse him, but when he sucked her breast, he not only sucked out the poison but her life as well.
Putna fell to the ground dead and was immediately transformed into her original demonic form. So, this is God. In the lap of his mother, he is God. He does not have to become God by meditation, penance, austerity, or by following rules or regulations. He is substantially and eternally God, and he has nothing to do. If one claims that he can become God by worshipping such and such a deity or by meditating, we should immediately take it that he is not a God but a dog. In understanding God, we must be careful to accept the Vedic conclusion only. Na dasya karyam karanam cha vidyate. God has nothing to do. Why would God have to do something to become God? Hmm. If we manufacture gold, that is artificial gold, not real gold. Gold is natural, and similarly, God is natural. In his childhood pastimes, in the lap of his mother, he is God. While he is playing with his boyfriends, he is God. While he is dancing, he is God. While he is fighting at Kurukshetra, he is God. While he is married to his queens, he is God. And while he is speaking, he is God. There is no difficulty in understanding God. All that is required of us is that we listen to Krishna. In Bhagavad Gita, Krishna tells Arjuna, Aham sarvasya prabhavo mattah sarvam pravartate iti matva bhajanti mam buddha bhava samanyitah. I am the source of everything from me. I am the source of everything. From me, the entire creation flows. Knowing this, the wise worship me with all their hearts.
This means that Sri Krishna is the fountainhead of Lord Shiva and the origin of Vishnu and of Brahma, and of course all other demigods and other living creatures. He says further, Mamaivanshu Jivaloke Jivabhuta Sanatanaha Manasashtani Indriyani Prakriti Stani Karshati. The living entities in this conditioned world are my fragmental parts and they are eternal. But due to conditioned life, they are struggling very hard with the six senses, which include the mind. In the
And
Brahma
it's
Samhita, Lord Brahma explains that if we are looking for God, here is God. प्रेमाञ्जनचरित भक्तिविलोचनेन सन्ता सदैव हृदयेषु विलोकयन्ति यं श्यामि सुन्दरम् अचिन्त्यगुणस्वरूपं गोविन्दमादिपुरुषं तमहं भजामि. I worship Govinda, the three-level Lord, who is Shyam Sundar Krishna himself, with inconceivable, innumerable attributes, whom the pure devotees see in their heart of hearts with the eye of devotion tinged with the salve of love.
mm, yes, we can stop here. It's 6 now.
Okay.